He was the richest man in the city, but he had a stone for a heart. When his mother came to his gate, begging just to see her son, he ordered his guards to throw her out, like trash. He denied the woman, who suffered to raise him.
No, let me
He
go.
thought his money
Don't
made him a
pull me
god,
away. Please,
but he
my
forgot that
children.
life is a circle. By the time he realized his mistake and went back to find her, his billions meant nothing, because it was already too late. A poor old woman stood outside a giant mansion gate, her clothes torn, her feet dusty, and her eyes full of tears. She held the metal bars with her shaking hands, hoping someone inside would hear her. Cars passed by the big house. Guards walked around with pride, but nobody cared about the woman crying at the gate. Before we begin David and Mama Adana's story, please hit the like and subscribe buttons so more people can learn from this powerful lesson. She gave him everything. The narrator whispered softly, but he gave her nothing. Still, a mother's heart never stops beating for her child. The woman's name was Mama Adana. She was 65 years old, small in height, with tired eyes that had seen too many hard days. She lived on the streets now. Every morning, she picked a small plastic bag, filled it with water bottles, and walked into traffic to sell them. The sun burned her skin, the dust made her cough, and the noise made her head spin. But she kept walking. She kept selling, because she had no one else in this world, except her son. Many years ago, Mama Adana was not a beggar. She was a strong market woman. She woke up before sunrise, carried baskets on her head, and sold fruits to feed her little boy. When her husband died, she did not cry for herself. She cried because she feared her son might suffer. So she worked harder. She carried heavier loads. She skipped meals just so young David could eat. When school fees increased, she sold her wedding jewelry. When David needed books, she sold her husband's clothes. When he needed money for extra classes, she sold the small sewing machine she loved. "My son will be great one day," she always said. "He will not suffer like me." And David grew. He was a bright boy, always top of his class. He hugged his mother every night and said, "Mama, when I grow up, I will take care of you. I will buy you a big house. I will make you proud." Those words stayed in her heart forever. But life changed. David left the small neighborhood, went to the city, studied business, and slowly climbed to the top. He did not just succeed. He became a billionaire. He owned hotels, banks, and companies. People called him Sir David. His mansion had more rooms than his mother ever dreamed of. Expensive cars filled his garage. Servants walked when he walked. Respect followed him everywhere. But there was one thing David forgot. Mama Adana. She heard stories about him. She heard people say he was powerful, rich, and important. And every time she heard his name, her heart smiled. "My boy did it," she whispered proudly. "He made it." But now, she had nothing. No home. No food. No family. So she made a decision. A painful one. She would go and see him. Maybe he would remember her. Maybe he would help her. A mother can dream. Even when the world breaks her, she walked miles under the burning sun until the tall mansion finally appeared before her. She stood at the gate, shaking, but hopeful. She whispered, "My son lives here. Thanks." And with trembling courage, she called out for him. Mama Adana held the gate a little tighter as the guards walked toward her. Their steps were loud, their faces serious. One guard folded his arms and looked her up and down like she was nothing. Another shook his head and laughed softly. "What do you want here, old woman?" the first guard asked. Mama Adana tried to smile, even though her lips were dry and cracked. "Please, I am here to see my son. His name is David. David Okafor. He lives in this house." The guards looked at each other and burst out laughing. "Your son, David? The billionaire? Old woman, stop this joke. She shook her head quickly. I am not lying, my child. I am his mother. I raised him alone. Please, let me see him. I walked so far just to talk to him. The second guard stepped closer and pointed at her dirty clothes, her worn sandals, her tired face. Mr. David has no beggar mother. Go away before you cause trouble. Those words stabbed her heart. Tears filled her eyes. She looked through the gate again, hoping her son would walk out, hoping he would say her name the way he used to when he was small. But the guards didn't listen. One of them pushed her back a little. Move away from the gate, but Mama Adana didn't move. A mother's hope is stronger than every pain she carries. Please, she whispered, just tell him someone is here to see him. If he sees my face, he will know me. The guard sighed loudly. Fine, wait here. But when he says he doesn't know you, don't cry. One guard went inside to make a call. The other stood in front of her, watching her like she was a problem. Minutes passed. Mama Adana wiped her tears and fixed her scarf. Her heart beat fast. She was scared but excited. She thought, maybe my son will smile when he sees me. Maybe he will hug me. She kept whispering, my son will come. He will remember me. God, please let him remember me. Soon, the mansion door opened. A tall man in a clean, dark suit walked out. His shoes shined, his face serious, and his steps full of power. For a moment, Mama Adana stopped breathing. That was her son, David Okafor, her little boy, who once followed her around the market. The boy who cried when he had no shoes. The boy who promised to take care of her. My son, she whispered, her voice shaking. David reached the gate. The guard pointed at her. Sir, this woman says she is your mother. Mama Adana's eyes filled with tears of joy. She took a small step forward. David, my child, it's me. It's your mother. Mama Adana, I came to see you. David looked at her coldly, as if she was a stranger on the street. His face did not soften. His eyes did not shine. He simply stared. The guard waited. Mama waited. The whole world seemed to stop. Finally, David spoke. I don't know this woman. Those words hit harder than any slap. Mama Adana covered her mouth and shook her head. David. No. Please. Look carefully. I am your mother. I raised you. David raised his hand to silence her. My mother is dead. This beggar is lying. Remove her from my property. The guards grabbed her arms. She cried out his name. He didn't look back. He walked away, leaving his mother screaming as she was dragged from the gate. Her dream broke that day. Her heart too. Mama Adana sat on the side of the road after the guards dragged her away. Her knees were weak, her breath shaky. People walked past her like she didn't exist. Cars drove by fast, splashing dust on her clothes. But she didn't feel the dust. She didn't feel the heat. She only felt one thing, her son's rejection. She covered her face with both hands and cried. Not the soft kind of crying. The deep kind. The kind a mother cries when her heart is broken in two. My son, she whispered again and again. My David, how can you forget me like this? But crying didn't stop her memories. Her mind pulled her back to the days when David was small. She remembered him running toward her after school, hugging her legs tightly. Mama, look! I got first in class again, he would say. She remembered cooking for him, even when she didn't eat. She remembered washing his clothes at night, whispering prayers that he would grow into a good man. He once held her face in his small hands and said, Mama, when I grow up, I will take care of you. I will build you a big house, so you will never suffer again. Those words echoed now, hurting her even more. But life doesn't stop when the heart aches. She wiped her tears, stood up slowly, and picked up her small bag. She had to survive. She had to sell water again, because if she didn't work, she wouldn't eat. Meanwhile, inside the mansion, David walked through the long hallway, pretending nothing had happened. His wife, Victoria, stood at the top of the staircase, wearing a shiny dress and expensive jewelry. Her eyes were sharp, her voice cold. "David," she said, "the guards told me some dirty old woman came to the gate today. Who was she?" David removed his suit jacket and didn't look up. "Nobody important," he said. "Just a beggar woman looking for money." Victoria rolled her eyes. "These poor people disgust me, always trying to enter rich homes like they belong here. If Mama Adana's pain is touching your heart, tap like and comment. Respect to mothers so this message reaches more people." David didn't respond. He felt annoyed, not guilty. He simply wanted the moment to disappear. Their 2 children ran into the room, loud and spoiled, holding new toys they had received just that morning. "Daddy, can we get the new game too?" they shouted. "Later," David said, forcing a smile. His mind was still stuck outside at the gate, even though he refused to admit it. "Good," Victoria said, "and make sure that beggar woman never comes here again. I don't want my friends thinking we have poor relatives." David nodded once. "I'll handle it." But outside, Mama Adana's world was crashing. Hours later, the sun dropped, and the sky turned dark purple. Mama walked slowly back toward the street where she sold water. Her legs felt heavy. Every step felt like she was walking on broken glass. People called out to buy water, but she hardly heard them. She was thinking of David's cold eyes, his calm voice when he denied her, his pride, his heart that had turned away from her. Still, she kept whispering, "Maybe next time he will remember. Maybe he was angry today." A mother should not give up. Even after being thrown away, she still held hope. That's what mothers do. The next morning, Mama Adana woke up feeling very weak. Her body hurt. Her head felt heavy. She tried to stand, but her legs were shaking like they could fall any second. Still, she picked up her small bag of water bottles. She told herself, "I must work. I need to eat." She walked to the busy road. But today she felt different. She felt tired in a way she had never felt before. When she tried to call out to people, her voice sounded small, almost like a whisper. Cars rushed past her, but she could not shout loud enough for anyone to hear. She tried again. "Water, water," but her voice broke. Her hands were shaking. Sweat rolled down her face. The world around her looked blurry. Still, she kept walking. She didn't want to give up. She needed to survive. But her body could not take it anymore. When she stepped onto the street to sell water to a driver, her foot slipped. Her eyes rolled back, and suddenly, she fell to the ground. People walked around her. Some looked at her, some ignored her, some stepped over her. But nobody stopped until one man came running. His name was Mr. Emeka. "Mama, Mama, can you hear me?" he asked, kneeling beside her. Mama opened her eyes slowly. She could barely breathe. My son," she whispered weakly. "Don't talk," he said softly. "You need help. Let me take you to the clinic." He lifted her carefully and took her to a small free clinic nearby. The doctor checked her and sighed. "She is very weak," the doctor said. "She has not been eating well. She needs rest and medicine." "No." Mr. Emeka looked at Mama kindly. "Mama, do you have any family? Someone we can call?" Mama's eyes filled with tears. Her lips trembled. She shook her head slowly. Then she whispered, "I have a son, but he does not want me." Those words broke even the doctor's heart. Mr. Emeka held her hand gently. Mama, I am sorry, but you are not alone. I will help you, Mama cried softly. Thank you, my child. God bless you. The doctor gave her free tablets. Mr. Emeka bought her food and water with his own money. He helped her sit in a shady place outside the clinic. She rested there for 2 days, trying to get stronger. But her heart still carried one dream. She still wanted to see her son David. On the 3rd day, she stood up slowly. Her legs hurt, but she pushed herself. Maybe my son will listen if I go to his office, she whispered. Maybe he will remember me there. She walked for hours under the hot sun. Sweat covered her clothes. Her feet burned, but she kept walking. Finally, she reached David's tall office building. She stood outside the big doors, holding the wall so she wouldn't fall. She waited in the sun for a long time. Her throat was dry. Her hands were shaking. Then she saw him. David walked out with his business partners, laughing and smiling. He looked rich, powerful, and happy. Mama stepped forward slowly. David, please, my son. I am sick. I need help. David stopped. His smile disappeared. His face changed. Security, he shouted. This woman is bothering me again. Mama reached out her hand. David, please. I am your mother. No, David said. If she comes near me again, call the police. The police arrived and told Mama to leave, or they would arrest her. David walked away without looking back. Mama stood there, shaking and crying. Her heart broke again, deeper than before. Days passed after Mama Adana was pushed away again. She tried to work, but her body felt weaker each morning. She sold fewer water bottles. She ate less food. She slept on the street with her hand over her chest, trying to stop the pain that kept growing inside her. But while her life was falling apart, David's life also started to shake. It began with his biggest hotel. One night, a fire broke out. Flames rose high into the sky. Workers screamed and ran. Guests rushed outside in fear. David arrived in a hurry, shocked and angry. Smoke filled the air as firefighters fought the flames. What happened here? David shouted. No idea, sir, a worker said. Everything was fine. Then suddenly the fire started. David clenched his teeth. Fix it. I don't want excuses. He drove home with stress in his eyes. But the trouble had only begun. 2 days later, he lost a giant business deal. A deal that was supposed to make him even richer. His partners backed out at the last minute. David, we can't continue, they said. But why? He asked. Things are not stable with your company. David slammed his desk after the call ended. What is happening to me? Money was slipping from his hands like sand. And then, something worse. His bank account was hacked. Millions disappeared overnight. David stood in his office, shaking with anger. Find the thief. Do something. He yelled at his workers. Sir, we tried. But the hacker covered their tracks. The money is gone. David felt like the ground under him was breaking. His perfect world, his empire, was falling piece by piece. Every day brought a new problem. At home, Victoria paced around the living room. David, what is happening to us? Why are we losing money? Why is everything going wrong? David rubbed his forehead. I don't know, but I will fix it. I always fix things. But deep inside, he felt fear. A fear he had never felt before. That night, he sat on his balcony alone. The wind was cold. The world felt dark. He looked at the city lights, but he didn't feel powerful anymore. He remembered something strange. The first trouble started the same week the old woman came to the mansion. Her crying face flashed in his mind for a second, but he shook his head immediately. No. That woman is nobody. My mother is dead. He pushed the thought away and went inside. On the streets far away, Mama Adana walked slowly with her bag of water bottles. Every step hurt. Her breathing was heavy. She held onto walls sometimes, just to keep herself standing. She didn't know that her son's life was falling apart. And David didn't know that his mother was dying a little each day. Life was turning for both of them, but in opposite directions. Karma had started its work, and neither of them could escape it now. Late one night, David left his office feeling tired and angry. His mind was full of problems. Fires, losses, missing money, and fear. He drove fast through the quiet road, trying to forget everything for a moment. The streetlights flashed past him like fading hope. He gripped the steering wheel tightly. Why is everything going wrong? He whispered to himself. Who is doing this to me? But the road had an answer waiting for him. Suddenly, his front tire burst with a loud bang. Boom! The car swerved left and right. David tried to control it, but the car slipped off the road and crashed into a tree. Glass shattered. Smoke rose from the engine. The world spun around him. David screamed in pain as his head hit the seat. His arm was bleeding. His leg felt trapped. He tried to reach for his phone, but it had fallen to the floor and broken in the crash. He was alone, in the dark, with no way to call for help. He groaned and leaned back. Somebody, please, he whispered. But no one was there. Cars rarely passed this road at night. His voice was too weak for anyone to hear. Minutes felt like hours. On the other side of the road, far down the street, Mama Adana was walking home slowly after another long day. Her body was tired. Her hands hurt. Her feet burned. Her feet burned. But she kept walking, whispering small prayers to herself for strength. Then she saw something strange ahead, a broken car. The front was smashed. Smoke rose gently into the night sky. Her heart began to race. She hurried closer, even though her legs hurt. When she reached the window and looked inside, her whole world stopped. It was David, her son, the boy she loved, the child who had pushed her away. She covered her mouth in shock. Tears filled her eyes. For a moment, she didn't move. She didn't know what to do. Her heart was screaming and crying at the same time. But a mother does not walk away. My son, she whispered, touching the window. Oh God. Please help him. She tried to open the car door, but it was stuck. She pushed harder. She hit it with her hands. She shouted for help. Please, somebody stop, help him. Help my son. A few cars drove by. Some slowed down. Finally, 2 people stopped and ran to help. One man called emergency services. Another helped pull David from the car carefully. Mama held David's hand tightly, even though he didn't know she was there. Her tears dropped onto his arm. My son, don't leave me, she cried softly. I am here. I won't go. You will be okay. David's eyes were half open. He could not see clearly, but he heard a soft voice, familiar, yet distant. He felt a warm hand holding his. He tried to speak, but no words came out. When the ambulance arrived, paramedics lifted David onto a stretcher. Mama walked beside him, holding his hand until they reached the doors. One paramedic asked, "Are you his family?" Mama nodded with tears. Yes. I am his mother. They let her sit inside the ambulance. For the first time in many years, Mama was close to her son again. But she didn't know. It might be the last time. When David opened his eyes, everything looked white. The ceiling, the lights, the walls. His head hurt. His body felt heavy. For a moment, he didn't know where he was. He blinked slowly and tried to sit up. But a sharp pain shot through his leg. A doctor walked in quickly. Sir, please don't move too much. You were in a bad accident. David looked around in confusion. Who brought me here? The doctor smiled softly. A woman saved you. An old woman. She stayed with you until the ambulance came. If she didn't stop for you, you might not be alive right now." David froze. A woman? An old woman? His heart jumped as one face flashed in his mind, the same woman who came to his mansion gate. The same woman who came to his office. The same woman he pushed away. The doctor continued. "She held your hand the whole time. She kept calling you her son." David's breath caught in his throat. He felt cold inside. He remembered her voice in the dark. The soft voice calling him, begging him not to die. He remembered the warm hand holding his. He whispered, "Where is she? I need to see her." The doctor sighed. "She left before we could get her name. She said she needed to go." David looked down at his trembling hands. "She saved me," he whispered. "After everything, she saved me." "What?" He leaned back on the pillow, feeling a deep pain in his heart stronger than the pain in his body. Meanwhile, outside the hospital, far away from the bright lights, Mama Adana walked slowly on the sidewalk. She held onto her chest. She was tired. Her breath was short. But she didn't stop. She didn't stay at the hospital because she felt she didn't belong there. She thought rich people like her son didn't want to see someone like her inside those clean halls. "I am glad he is alive," she whispered. "That is enough for me." She didn't know he was asking for her. She didn't know he finally remembered the truth. She didn't know he was ready to fall to his knees if he saw her again. Back inside, David sat alone, thinking about his life. All his money. All his cars. All his houses. All the people who bowed in front of him. None of them came to save him. But the one person he rejected, the one he called a beggar, the one he denied in front of everyone, she was the one who saved his life. A strong tear rolled down his cheek. He whispered to himself, "What have I done? What kind of son am I?" That night, he couldn't sleep. He couldn't close his eyes without seeing Mama's face. He couldn't breathe without feeling guilt in his chest. For the first time in many years, David felt small, weak, lost. He needed his mother, but he didn't know where to find her. The next morning, David got out of the hospital bed slowly. His legs still hurt, but his heart hurt even more. He asked the nurse again, "Are you sure the old woman didn't leave her name? Didn't she say anything before she went?" The nurse shook her head kindly. She only said, "Tell my son I am happy he is safe." Then she walked away. David felt another sharp pain inside his chest. Those were words a real mother would say. Not a stranger. Not a liar. Only a mother. He held his head in his hands. How could I be so blind? How could I treat her like that? How could I treat her like that? He remembered every moment she stood outside his life. Her calling his name at the gate. Her crying outside his office. Her saying she was sick. Her begging him to look at her. And he remembered himself pushing her away every time. Cold. Proud. Cruel. Now the truth stood in front of him like a mirror he could not escape. The woman he rejected. The woman he insulted. The woman he denied. That woman was his mother. He whispered, "I have to find her. I must fix this. I must tell her I'm sorry." As soon as the doctor allowed him to leave, David walked out of the hospital with a limp. His driver tried to help him, but David pushed his hand away. "No. I need to feel this pain. I deserve it." He didn't go home. He didn't go to his office. He went straight to the streets. Those same streets where Mama walked every day. He asked everyone he saw, "Have you seen an old woman who sells water? Do you know a woman named Mama Adana? Please, I'm looking for my mother." Some people shook their heads. Some said, "Maybe down that road." Others said, "Yes, we saw her. But not today." David kept searching. He walked for hours under the hot sun. Sweat rolled down his face. His shirt became dirty. His shoes got covered with dust. Dust he never touched in his rich life. He checked every corner, every sidewalk, every small shop. He asked drivers, sellers, beggars, children, old men, anyone who might know something, but nobody could tell him where she was now. Day turned into night. Night turned into the next day. He barely slept. He barely ate. His heart felt heavier with each passing hour. He whispered to himself, "Mama, please forgive me. Please let me find you. I need to see you. I need to say sorry." On the third day, his strength was almost gone. He sat on the edge of a small street, holding his head, crying quietly. He had all the money in the world, but he felt poorer than ever. Just then, he noticed a familiar face, walking by a kind man. The same man who once helped him during a charity event. His name was Mr. Emeka. David stood up quickly. "Sir, please. I need your help. I am looking for an old woman who sells water. She saved my life after my accident." Mr. Emeka looked at him with gentle eyes. He took a deep breath and nodded slowly. "I know the woman you are looking for." David's heart jumped. "Where is she? Please tell me. I want to see her." Mr. Emeka placed a hand on David's shoulder. His eyes were sad. "David, I am very sorry. She died 3 days ago." The world around David stopped. His legs shook, his mouth opened, but no sound came out. Then, he fell to his knees in the middle of the street. Mr. Emeka continued softly. "She was sick for a long time. She had no money for medicine. She spoke about you before she died. She said she hoped you were safe." David covered his face and cried like a child. He realized the truth too late. His mother died, while still loving him. The sun was hot and bright, but David felt nothing. He stayed on his knees in the middle of the street, crying into his hands. His whole body shook. His heart felt like it was breaking inside his chest. People walked around him, confused, wondering why a rich man was crying like a lost child. But David didn't care who saw him. He cried because the truth finally hit him. His mother was gone forever, and he had no chance to fix the pain he gave her. He wiped his face with shaking hands. No, this can't be true," he whispered. "I didn't get to say sorry. I didn't get to say I love you. I didn't get to call her Mama again." Mr. Emeka helped him stand. "David, your mother suffered for many years. She loved you until her last breath. She wished you well, even when she was in pain." Those words stabbed David's heart again. He grabbed Mr. Emeka's arm. Please take me to her. I want to see where she is buried. I must see her one last time." Mr. Emeka nodded quietly. "Come with me." They walked together through small streets, past broken houses, past old shops, past places David had never seen in his life. His expensive shoes got covered in dust, but he didn't stop. His leg hurt with every step, but the pain felt small next to the hurt in his heart. After many minutes, they reached a simple, poor cemetery. There were no big marble stones, no flowers, no fancy graves, just small mounds of dirt with wooden markers. Mr. Emeka pointed to one grave, a very simple one, a small wooden board with just one name written in shaky letters. Mama Adana. David felt his chest tighten. His breath stopped for a moment. He walked to the grave slowly, like his legs were made of stone. Then, he fell to his knees again. There was no umbrella for shade, no flowers, no decorations, nothing to show the world that a loving mother was buried here. David placed his hands on the dirt and cried softly, "Mama, I am sorry. I am so sorry." His tears fell into the dry soil. He touched the wooden marker gently. "I hurt you. I called you a liar. I pushed you away. I let you walk alone. I let you die alone." The wind blew softly across the cemetery. "If I could give all my money just to hear your voice again, I would. If I could give everything I own to hug you one more time, I would." I was blind, Mama. I was proud. I was foolish. He lowered his head. You saved me when I was a little boy, and you saved me again the night of the accident. Even when I rejected you, you still loved me. The truth crushed him. He whispered, I killed you with my pride. Mr. Emeka stood beside him quietly, giving him time. For a long moment, David just cried on the grave of the woman who gave him life, love, and everything she had. But now she was gone, and he could never fix it. David did not move from his mother's grave for a long time. The sky slowly changed colors above him, orange, pink, then a soft blue. Birds flew across the quiet cemetery, and the wind brushed gently over the small wooden marker where Mama Adana lay. But David stayed on his knees, holding the dirt with both hands like he was holding the last piece of his broken heart. His voice shook as he whispered, Mama, I wish I could hear your voice one more time. I wish I could hold your hands again. I wish I had listened when you called me. He wiped his tears. But more tears came. I was blind, Mama. Blind with pride. Blind with money. Blind with ego. And now I must live with this pain. Mama, he touched the wooden board softly, like he was touching her hand. I promise you, I will never forget you again. I will make your name shine. The world will know the truth. You were the one who built me. You were the one who made me strong. For a moment, he closed his eyes and remembered his childhood. His mother cooking for him, washing his clothes, walking him to school, selling fruit, just so he could study. The memories hurt, but he held on to them, because that was all he had left. Slowly, he stood up. His legs were weak. His heart felt even weaker. Mr. Emeka stepped beside him and held his arm. Take your time, he said gently. I don't deserve time, David whispered. But I will try to be better. For her. They walked out of the cemetery slowly. But at the gate, David turned around one last time. The grave was small, simple, quiet. Nothing about it showed how big her heart was. He whispered, Goodbye, Mama. I love you. I am sorry. I said it too late. When he reached home, the mansion felt strange, empty, cold. Victoria walked toward him. Why are you crying? Why do you look like this? Bye? David looked at her with red eyes. Because the woman you called a beggar was my mother, and I let her die alone. Victoria opened her mouth, but no words came out. The children went silent. David walked past them without speaking. He went to his room, closed the door, and sat on the edge of his bed. The mansion around him felt like a prison now. Big, but lonely. Beautiful, but empty. Expensive, but useless. He picked up the small hospital band from the night of the accident and held it tightly. The narrator spoke softly. He had everything money could buy, but he lost the one thing money can never replace. He had power, but no peace. He had success, but no mother. He had pride, and that pride destroyed the person who loved him most. The camera shows David sitting alone, hands over his face, crying quietly in the huge, empty mansion. Then the final message appears on screen. Honor your parents while they are alive. Love them while they can still hear you. Tomorrow may be too late. The screen slowly fades to black. A soft voice ends the story. If this story touched your heart, please like the video, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe for more emotional stories. Your support helps us bring more life lessons to the world. Then one final reminder appears. Call your mother today. Don't wait. Say the words before time takes the chance away.